Welcome to This Creative Life number 7, where I talk to Stuart Littlejohn about his creative journey from art school to professional artist and how he uses myth, magic and inspiration to create his artwork. This episode lasts about 40 minutes, so sit back and enjoy. Thank you very much for joining me. This is the This Creative Life number 7. Yay, 7.
Number 7, excellent, my favourite. That must be, yes, it must be, that's obviously, that was going to happen.
Yes. It's my favourite number 2, actually.
There you go.
No idea why.
I know, it's a nice, I don't know, it's just nice to draw it or write it or whatever. So.
Yes, let's do this. Where would you like people to go to see your stuff on the interwebs?
All right, well, you can go to my website, which is stuartlittlejohn.com, which is nice and straightforward.
Yeah, and that's a new website, yes?
That's right, yeah, that's relatively new. Or else people can go on, if they've got a Facebook account, can go on my Facebook art pages, just search for me, you should find me quite happily.
And Stuart Littlejohn.
Yeah, Stuart Littlejohn, artist, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's the picture with the red lady with the white face. So.
Ah, yes. Lovely, fantastic.
That's probably the easiest way.
Yeah. What are you working on this week?
At the moment, I'm doing a picture of it's Ra as the scarab beetle.
Ah.
Between the horns of the great swimmer, which is a form of Neath. That's quite interesting. I'm kind of concentrating on a few more Egyptian-y type things at the moment. One of the interesting things about that picture is it's to do. Neath is one of the, I think as far as I can tell, it's one of the only Egyptian goddesses who's actually got a creation myth attached to her. She is the kind of great creatrix. Most of the information I have comes from her temple in Esna in Egypt, which it's a Ptolemaic temple, but it gives all her mythology and her backstory, and it's fascinating stuff. And one of the stories is as she's kind of created the world out of the world of chaos, she turns herself into a cow and then swims through the waters with Ra on her horns, or between her horns. So I'm trying to do something along those lines. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
it should be finished in a week or so people will get a preview.
And are you doing that in watercolor?
Yep, yeah, my usual watercolor and my usual size. Of late, I've been doing larger things, kind of more A3 size, which as I'm getting rather advanced in years, I'm finding it harder to do larger paintings. So I've gone back to my usual A4 size, and it's much more convenient for me.
Yeah. So you used to do things in A4, didn't you?
Yes. Let's have a think. I used to do very large stuff, usually in oils, and I used to love doing oil paintings, but I was finding it was taking me too long to do, and it was taking too long to dry. And then I was asked to do a book in watercolour, which I hadn't actually used for years. I sort of started out in watercolour. And I really enjoyed that, so I then sort of went back over to using watercolours again, and that's been really good because it just means my rate of production, never very fast, is kind of speeded up a little bit. So that's quite nice.
Yeah. So have you studied art? Is that where you learnt to paint in oils, or did you just teach yourself how to do it?
No, I did go to art school. I was in art school during the 70s, early 80s. And I always wanted to be a book illustrator. So I did a kind of graphic design book illustration course in Exeter. And I squeaked my degree. Literally, I nearly failed it. So doing an art course doesn't necessarily mean you're good or bad, to be quite honest. It depends what you do afterwards.
So did you go straight into being an artist after art school, or did you do something else first?
Yeah, I had a little stretch of 2 or 3 years trying to make it as in the sort of art world. I went up to London. I hawked my stuff around various ad agencies and things like that, which was an absolute nightmare. So I sort of scuttled my way back to Devon again and settled down and tried to make a go of it. But that wasn't successful. So I ended up doing various jobs, working in nurseries, doing plant nurseries, doing stuff in education. I then took a PGCE to become a primary school teacher.
Ah.
So I did a bit of teaching for a while, and I ended up in a school for an EBD school, which is for emotionally challenged teenagers, which was an interesting experience. And I finally gave that up back in 2011, and since 2011 I've been doing it full time. So I'm painting full time. So.
Right.
It's kind of fitted in really well, and I am more than happy doing what I'm doing. Poor as a church mouse, I have to say, but we have enough. We have enough. We have what we need, which is good.
Yeah. Because you've been painting since since you started art school, but like professionally selling your artwork to other people since the 1980s, haven't you?
Pretty much, yes. Yeah. Off and on, it kind of goes in fits and starts. Either feast or famine, as they say.
Yeah.
I'm sure you find this, that sometimes you kind of get a great splurge where people want your stuff, and next minute, it's you'll have 6 months without any income at all. So you've got to make sure you kind of take advantage of it while it's happening, really. So.
Yeah. Do you go around to any shows or anything? Do you do like Comic Cons or Dragon Con in the US? I know it's a big illustration thingy.
To be quite honest, I tend to live in a very, very sort of hermetically sealed bubble. I do my own stuff, and I follow my own weird, as they say. And then, I take notice of these things, but I rarely go and see them. In fact, probably the only shows I go to see are the ones that are actually involving me, which sounds very.
So you don't do any of the esoteric magical conferences either?
Oh yes, I've done those. But that's mostly in the UK.
Yeah.
I did a load of. I did several things in Glastonbury. 2010, 2011, 2012. There was the occult conferences in Glastonbury, which I displayed at. I had a couple of exhibitions around about that time as well, and that's interesting. Yeah, it's good to see what other people do.
Yeah,
I have to admit, I did do a couple of shows. There was a couple of Pagan Federation conferences back in the early 2000s, which I attended, which again was quite interesting, purely from a people watching perspective, if nothing else.
Yes, you do get the interesting people at those places.
Oh yes, definitely interesting. Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that, really.
Yes. Yeah, so because your artwork mainly revolves around myth and magic and legends and that kind of thing. So you're doing the Egyptian Pantheon right now, are you?
Well, it's not the Egyptian Pantheon. I'm very much of a butterfly. If something will take notice or interest me, and oh, something shiny. Yes, we'll follow that. And sometimes you can go down a dead end, but other times it kind of opens up a very sort of interesting panorama. And I'm interested in all kinds of classical mythology and history and art and architecture, as well as not just the sort of Greek, Roman, Egyptian stuff, but also Chinese, Tibetan, Indian, Aztec, Mayan. All that stuff has fascinated me since I was a child. Really. So it's just an extension of what I was always interested in from as early as I can remember.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, it's always been there, and the art is a natural extension of that.
Yeah.
So I don't tend to do anything. Say, okay, I'm going to seriously do a whole series of Egyptian paintings or classical paintings or anything really.
Yeah.
I literally just whatever comes into my head, that I just follow the inspiration, if you will. And
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah, I do like shiny things.
Yeah, it's hard for me to do a series as well for the exact same reason. I start off doing one thing and then I'm like, ooh, shiny, something else.
Exactly. Yeah. Something takes your attention.
Yes.
Which is fine, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
No.
I always remember that people always said to me, "Oh, why don't you do a tarot deck?" And I did do one back in the 90s, and I swore never ever to do one again.
Never.
Never. But of course, just recently we've released an oracle deck. Josephine wrote the book for it, and I did it with Cassandra Beanland, who lives in the States, and that came out about a year and a half ago, which it's been really good.
Yeah, because I thought you had done another one recently.
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah. It's great resolutions. Never ever going to do another tarot pack. Oh yes, here we go. Let's do
another tarot pack and call it an oracle pack instead.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not. It wasn't too bad because what we did is we used a lot of pre-existing paintings. So basically, we just had to fill in the gaps, which even so was still a lot of work. And then and then I did all the design for the cards and the layouts and everything, and that really took a lot of doing. It took far more time than the paintings.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day, and it's like 78 cards. That would be 78 weeks at least of work.
Well, the Quarrier deck, the Magician's deck, is 81 cards, and so
81, like 90 works
80,
a week.
90
weeks of work. Sorry.
90 weeks of work, yeah, at least.
At least. Oh dear.
If you do a painting in a week, you're doing really well.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny, because I'm always very optimistic with my times. I'm like, yes, I can totally do this in a week, and then 2 weeks later, I'm still doing something, and I'm like, okay, maybe that was a little optimistic.
Yeah, that is a difficult one because sometimes, yes, they do just flow, and you can get them done really quickly, and other times, what you think might be an easy part of the painting suddenly decides it wants to be incredibly awkward and difficult, and you spend time going over it and over it and over it.
Noodling.
Noodling, yes, that's a very good phrase. Yes. And people say, well, I want a painting, or can you do me this painting? How long do you need? You always have to kind of add on a little bit of extra time because it's going to go difficult at some point, and then you've got to cover that. So
and you've got to do all the concepting first as well, and
that I don't find that's too much of a problem. Often I find the concept and the first drawings, first drafts are the interesting bits, because where you're working out the problems and the issues as far as the composition is concerned, and then the painting itself can actually be quite a bit more difficult, because although I've been doing this for years, there are times when I can still paint like a cretin. I can paint like a 5-year-old. I sometimes wonder why that happens. I haven't the faintest idea, because
some days you just wake up and you just can't. You're just saying, nothing I draw today is coming out right.
Yeah, you've really just got to push through that. You just keep on going, and then it clicks back in again. And it's kind of linked in really with the whole thing about artistic inspiration as well.
Yes.
Because that kind of ebbs and flows like tides.
Yeah, and if you wait for inspiration, you'd be waiting all day.
Well, yes, but if you find yourself in a blank space, sometimes the best thing you can do is just stop and go out for a walk, and maybe that walk might last a day or 2 days or a week or a month. Sometimes it's better just to let things find their own level, and then the tide comes back in again, and then you can start off again. Sometimes pushing it is not a good idea, but if in the context of a particular painting that you're doing, if it does get difficult, again, take breaks. But you've got to push on through it to get it finished, especially if it's commissioned. So you have to you have to go with your own ingenium really and see how that
Yeah, how that goes.
how that works out in the
Yeah.
end.
I heard someone describe it once as when you're creating art, you're breathing out, you're creating something.
Yes.
And once you've breathed out, you need to take a breath back in again. You need to kind of fill yourself back up again before you can go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yes, that's very true. You know, you can't keep giving of yourself, and like anything, whatever field of endeavour you're in, you can't keep on giving. You do actually have to refuel and restock and
Yeah,
basically
breathing.
fill up your reserves and your resources again. Yes,
Yeah.
before you take the next step. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you go out for walks, like you say? Do you go out for walks where you live?
I should do, but I don't do as much as I should do.
Yeah.
We live in a very, very beautiful place, and like all sorts of places, if you have beauty around you, you tend to get a little bit blasé about it. I have to
Yeah.
say. Oh yeah, I'll go there tomorrow, or I'll go there next week, and then next week comes past and we get busy. And, I slap myself about that because I should do it more. The exercise would be good for me anyway.
And do you have a studio in your house, or is it in the garden, or is it just
Oh.
a desk?
No, it's we live in a very small house, so I have my desk in front of the window in the living room, and I look out over the village and the church and the hills and the trees. So it's very nice. And Joseph's office is the left-hand side of the couch, which is just behind my right shoulder. So that's where she does her writing. So yeah, we're a good team. We've kind of worked out, because we live in such a small space. We've worked out how to kind of go around each other, give each other enough space to do what the other needs to do. So that works out very well.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you guys don't have any kids or pets at home then?
We don't have any kids at home, though we have lots of children. We do have pets. We've got 3 cats.
Aha. Do you ever find they walk over your work?
All the time. Yeah, sometimes they even answer it. Yeah. I've got my particular cat is a Norwegian mountain cat, so she's got a little fur.
Those are the ones with the really, really big paws.
Yeah, she's got big paws. She's quite a small version, but she is one of those, and she's just gorgeous. She's just a big ball of fluff, but she tends to add things with her tail when she walks past. And
you need an ink blotch right there.
Yeah, well, you just have to go with it, really. Oh, yeah, that's quite an interesting effect. Yes, I'll keep that. Our other cat is called Colin, and he has one eye, so he's like Odin. And he's more of the I'm going to sit right in the middle of your painting, right now, and just sit there. Yes.
So what's the best advice anyone has ever given you?
Don't give up and trust. I think that's 2 bits of advice.
Yeah.
But if you really want to do this, you're probably not going to make vast amounts of money.
That's just truth.
Yeah, that's just obvious from the start. But if personally, I would be painting even if I was living in a cardboard box on the street somewhere.
Yeah.
Or I would attempt to, anyway. It's just something I have to do. And if you feel the same way, or other people feel the same way, then do it. Because you're only going to make yourself incredibly miserable if you stop yourself doing it.
Yeah.
And if what you're doing sort of fits into any kind of flow, any kind of magical flow or whatever, and you're doing the right thing, you will know, because doors will open. You will get what you need to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And it might sound a bit kind of airy-fairy, but it does actually work, and it does seem to happen. If you kind of make a contract with the inner beings and sort of say, okay, I want to do this, this, and this. How can I do this that is some kind of service or whatever, then they will provide if you are on the right road. If you go deviating off, you'll find things working, you won't be able to work, you won't find a place to work. That's just my personal experience. Now, whether that can be translated across to everybody else or anybody else, I don't know.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine describe creating artwork as creating prayers to the universe.
Yeah, I can see that. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because you're bringing something into manifestation, which can be quite strange in many ways. But it's all inside, or and you just bring it out, and you have to do this. You're kind of driven.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. It's one of the sculptors, one of the ancient sculptors. He said, "I don't make anything; it's already in the marble. I just chip away the bits that aren't supposed to be there."
It's Michelangelo, I believe.
Yeah, I'm probably butchering that quote entirely, but yeah.
No, you're pretty close. Yeah, the form is already in the stone. Yes, yeah. It's actually something I wish I'd done more of when I was doing my foundation course. It was a bit more sculpture, because I would have really enjoyed doing that.
Yeah, because you do a bit of sculpture as well, don't you?
I do 3D stuff. Yes, yeah, modelling things.
Do you sell any of your sculptures?
I do occasionally. Yes, yeah. The strange thing about that is, again, they're more for me, to be quite honest. I get because I tend to find that other people, it's a very niche market of a niche market, if you want to put it that way. Sometimes,
Yeah, it's not fairies and dragons, which are kind of a wide niche. It's kind of a more narrow niche. I know what you mean.
It's a very narrow. Yes. Here's a statue of Astarte in her shrine. Now, not too many people are going to want one of those, just as a kind of conversation piece on the wall. But
exactly.
If Astarte worship is fine, no trouble at all. Yeah, but there's not many of those about, to be quite honest.
I know exactly what you mean.
I was going to do it anyway, so I might as well. Yeah, I'll chance up it. But
yeah, if you're doing it anyway.
Yeah, the problem. It's not only. This brings it back to kind of very mundane things. Is you can never really get money-wise what your artwork is worth. The amount of time and effort you put into it. And it's the same with the sculptures, especially. They take me a long time to do, but if I do sell them, I can never ever get back the amount of time in monetary. But you can put the monetary value on the time anyway. But it's almost impossible. And it's the same with the paintings, because if you were to cost them by the hour, they would it puts them way out of reach for people.
Yeah.
And which is, it's just, after a while you kind of get used to that, and you say, well, it is what it is. If it's for sale, it will go for what it's, the right price. But the sort of other side of that is that I find that paintings often go to the right people. Curiously, sometimes I can paint something and it'll sit around after I've painted it for months, years even, but eventually it'll go to its home that it was meant to go to.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
Some come along and buy it, or say, oh yeah, I really want that, and then off it goes, and that's quite satisfying, because it's you're kind of creating things for the future, and you don't even know what that future is.
Yeah, I actually have one of your pieces, one of your originals.
You have my Sekhmet stone.
I
on the
do.
Oh, yes.
Can't believe you remember that. That was a long time ago.
Do. It's about the only one I've remembered who I've sold it to. I must have.
She's right next to me on the right here.
Excellent. How's she doing?
She's very well. She's travelled countries a few times with me.
Yes, because you were in Sweden, weren't you?
I was.
Now you're back in UK.
Yes, I am indeed.
Yeah. Yes. Do you find she's very talkative?
She'll actually just sit there and watch.
Yes.
Judgingly, like a cat from the corner.
Very much so.
Yeah, she's just sitting there going, mm-hmm.
You think?
Exactly. Pretty much.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. 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 That sounds about right. Yeah. Oh, I'm good. I'm glad she's still. I'm glad she's still okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Very. She inspires me every day.
Excellent. Yeah.
I'm like, if I could only get to that quality of painting, I'd be okay.
I've been looking at some of your stuff of late. You have you? I'm going to start interviewing you now. Have you? You've only recently come to painting, haven't you? Or have you always done that? Have you done that for quite a while before you sort of started kind of opening out into the market, as it were?
No. I mean, I always like played around with sketching, but never really seriously took it seriously. It was just something that I did.
Sure.
Every few months I would draw something.
Yeah.
But 2 years ago I went, you know what, I need to create my art now, and I need to just give it the love it deserves.
Exactly. Yeah. You're following what you need to do.
Yeah, exactly. I can't not do it. So
exactly. Yeah.
You know, for a long time I was like one of those people who's like, you know what, I really want to be an artist, but you know, I need to do something else because I need to make some money, you know, and have a career or whatever. And then after a while I was like, you know what, this career isn't making me very happy, so I'm just going to go with what's going to make me happy.
Yeah, that's it's a big leap.
It is.
And then when you take it, you suddenly realise, actually, that wasn't such a big leap after all. I'm now doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Why the hell did this before, sort of thing. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
But it's
it's quite different. It requires a little more discipline and things like that.
Yeah. It's so many people, most people are so used to doing the 9 to 5 or whatever it is, and having other people provide their work for them in a sense.
Yeah.
To be self-motivated to do stuff. It is quite a change.
Yeah.
A lot of people can do that, and a lot of people would find that very difficult.
Yeah, it's very hard to start thinking like a business person for yourself. You know, you've got to do all your emails, do all your admin, you know, do all your website stuff and your promotional stuff as well as your art.
Yeah, which often takes more time than the actual art, which is it's a little bit depressing sometimes.
Yes, I had noticed. Some weeks are like 80% admin, 20% artwork.
Yeah.
How do you find that? Do you find that you spend a lot of time like chasing your Instagram account, or?
Yeah, it's. I must admit, I am incredibly lazy when it comes to things like that. So I will do what needs to be done, usually at the last minute. So it's like doing my tax return. Everything's done last minute. No, it shouldn't be. It should be done. But I have actually. I have to admit, Josephine does all my accounts these days, and she's very, very good at it. She's very, very organised. So, okay, yeah, there you go, Josephine. Just take those and sort them all out.
You're very blessed.
Yeah, I am actually. It's she works like an absolute treasure, and she's writing this magical course at the moment. It's going to be something like 1 million words. 15 books. So we're up to book 13. So
15 books.
15 books. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Is that going to be self-published, or is that?
Yeah. Well, we do run a little publishing company. So it's called Quarrier.com, and her work is published through that, and I sort of tend to do the design work for that as well. So we have lots of irons in our fire, and which is another way of making sure we can make ends meet as well. So,
what kind of books are those? Are those like just angelic magic, or is it more
no.
elemental, or?
It's how to describe it? It's called Quarrier, the whole course.
Right.
And it's basically looking at magic, and then looking at the fundamentals, and then splitting it right down. So, okay, people do such and such a ritual. Why do they do that? What is going on? Where has it come from? What was its original purpose? And she's done this through a vast horde of different magical practice and theory, and she is a kick-ass magician in her own right. So it's and she was trained. She was a ballet teacher, so she's gone back to, I think it's the Vaginova method. I think that's how it's pronounced. Of ballet teaching, where you split all the sort of big movements down to the smallest movement, and then you get each little movement correct and sorted, and then you go into the next one. So it's kind of like stripping away all the detritus, all the crap that kind of drifted to the top of magical practice and thought, and going back to basics and saying, where has this come from? What does it do? What are you actually achieving by doing it in its form? And then if you do summon this, that, or the other, why are you doing that?
Yeah, why are you using that word? Why are you using that symbol? Yeah.
What are you actually hoping to achieve? And do you know where this has come from? You're saying this is that, this is the other, or does this come from Solomon? Well, actually no, it's come from here. You can track it all the way back. And her research is impeccable, and the writing is marvelous, and it's probably, I don't think it's actually been done before in quite the same way. It's such an in-depth.
No, I look forward to getting a copy, or like 15.
Well, if you want to check it out, it's Quarrier.com. Now let me try. Let me. QUAREIA.
Okay. .com.
.com.
Okay, I'll put that in the notes for the episode, and I'll direct everyone there. So if you're interested in those books, you can go there and check them out.
Go there, check them out. You can also get the Oracle deck, the Magician's deck, from there as well.
Oh, nice, fantastic. So you do commissions as well, don't you?
I do commissions, yes.
Yeah. Do you find that gets busy at any particular point of the year, or do you think you just get a steady stream of commissions?
It's hard to say, really. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. It goes back to saying, it's kind of feast or famine.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of those on at the moment?
Not at the moment. No, I've just finished 2, so we're into a quiet patch. Is why I'm managing to get some of my own stuff done. So occasionally, yes, I'll get a whole string of commissions, and then it'll quieten right down.
Ah.
So there seems to be no rhyme or reason to it. To be quite honest.
Do you have a fixed price that you go to when you do a commission, or do you just feel it out?
I sort of have a fixed starting price. I can do a basic thing for a certain price at a certain size, and then it kind of goes up by size. But if somebody wants something really complex, then we work that into the cost.
Yeah.
It depends really on size and complexity. But I do start off with a basic price for a basic size.
Yeah.
So and sometimes I do it by feel, and occasionally I even just give them away. So, but that's for very, very special occasions. Really.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What
God, it makes me sound incredibly mercenary, doesn't it? Really?
No, you've got to make money. This is the business. This is the art business, not the art charity.
Well, yes, but you can be charitable from time to time.
You can, and there are certain pieces of artwork, I think, that find their way to the person, regardless of how much they can pay or if they can't pay at all. And you just go, well, this is a gift meant for you.
Yeah. And sometimes the painting will say when you're halfway through, oh, this has got to go into so-and-so.
Yeah.
And, oh, okay, right, fine.
Yeah.
Not allowed to sell this one. This one has to be a gift.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the painting I did of Tin Hinan, which I finished a week or so ago, that was one of those. Curiously. Um, Literally halfway through, it had to go to a particular person,
Ah.
and that particular person also happened to mention quite independently that Tin and Anne had been turning up to them in dreams and things.
Ah.
And this hadn't crossed. This was just I just happened to. The painting itself had been sitting on the back burner for about 6 months. I was thinking of doing it sort of about this time, around about Christmas time last year, and I sort of did a bit of research on it, and I thought, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. That's going to be the next thing. But other things got in the way, and then I finally got some time to do it, and as soon as I was into it, it was saying, no, this has got to go to such and such a person in such and such a place,
And so it does.
So it does, and you have to follow that, because that's very important. Because
Yeah.
it's a working piece. Then it's obviously meant to be doing something. So yeah. And so that is very satisfying actually when that happens. Not not in a monetary way, of course, but
But in a soul way.
In a soul way, it is very, very satisfying. Yes.
Yeah. Do you have a process that you go through to create art? Do you have like a list of things that you'd like to paint, or do you just sit down one day and start drawing and go, oh yes, this is coming through very nicely? And
it's a bit of a mixture, really. It's sometimes I would think, oh yes, I've got an idea for like a series of paintings, or themed, interlinked paintings, and yeah, that might be a good idea. So I do some sketching about that and think, oh yeah, that will work well, and then okay, I'll put that to one side until I've got some time to really address that. Other times it will suddenly flash into my head, almost complete. Do this now. Oh, okay.
Mortal.
Mortal, yes. Foolish mortal, just produce this. So yeah, there's that process. So it and also yes, the kind of doodling when I do doodle. Sometimes brings things out as well. It has done. So it's kind of a mix. It's not just one or the other, or the third one either. So it's wherever inspiration strikes you from whatever direction. So
Wonderful. Well, it's coming up to about 40 minutes, so I'll let you
Goodness.
get on with the day.
this has been really great.
Yeah, it's been lovely to chat to you.
And you, Gemma. And yeah, thanks for this. This is really sweet.
Thank you. Well, I hope we can have you back on. I say we, I mean me. I hope I can have you back on the show again sometime. Maybe in the new year. See how the new year is treating you.
That would be lovely. Yes. Yeah. Well, just drop me a message, and I'll be quite happy to do that.
Okay.
And, good luck with your stuff as well.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, Gemma. You take care.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, madam.
Bye.
Bye.